he said he built their homes with his own hands. But when the walls began to crack, the truth came pouring out. What if the man who called himself a builder couldn't even fix a leak? What if the dream homes of sister wives were really built on neglect and favoritism? 4 wives, 4 homes, and one illusion holding them all together. Because tonight, we're tearing down the myth of Kody Brown, the man who claimed to build everything and ended up breaking it all. And if you've ever watched someone promise you forever, only to walk away when things started to fall apart, this story will hit home. Part 1. Kody told his wives, "I'll build your house." To many fans of Sister Weave, Kody Brown is known as the patriarch, the planner, the caretaker of multiple homes. But behind that image lies a question: how much of that he actually built with his own hands? He always wants credit for construction, but I never saw him do real work. Across Reddit threads and fan forums, a persistent whisper echoes: Kody may be delusional when it comes to calling himself a contractor. In Flagstaff, a decision would reveal much more than just a failed house. It would expose a deeper truth. Over the years, Kody has repeatedly claimed responsibility for designing, supervising, even hands-on building on the Brown family's multiple homes. He calls himself a contractor, and fans see him wearing tool belts, overseeing crews, instructing workers. He acts like the contractor, but I never see him swing a hammer. Those online criticisms run deeper. The wives allegedly bear the burden of home upkeep. Some allege Kody ignores plumbing leaks, failing AC units, siding rot, while taking credit for the structure. We were told, wait until I can get around to it. Yet months pass, nothing changes. From kitchen cabinets to roofing, fans say Kody's involvement is superficial, drawing plans, taking credit, but rarely doing the grunt work. But one home in Flagstaff would cement a contrast between image and reality. Flagstaff, Arizona became a turning point. The Browns purchased land, broke ground, and began construction of a new home. But disaster seemed baked into the plans from day one. Problems mounted: poor site drainage, foundation cracks, unfinished garages. Neighbors whispered, corners were cut. Fans analyzed overwrought edits in Sister Wives to mask disaster. I see framing errors, flashing absent, windows misaligned. These are signs of project mismanagement, not simple hiccups. Rather than stepping in hands-on, Kody's role remained managerial. Inspections, decisions, design changes. But when delays dogged the build, accusations grew louder. Does he even know how to swing a hammer? This is Roof Leaks 101. Here, in Flagstaff, we begin to see the mask slip. The twist? The person who did the heavy lifting was never Kody, but someone else, working quietly in the shadows. Between the grand new builds and the big claims lies a quieter reality: the day-to-day upkeep of the wives' homes. Insiders, and some wives themselves, say Kody neglected these everyday issues, stepping away from responsibility once the cameras stopped rolling. We would call for help. He'd say, "I'll get to it." But weeks turned into months. We covered it ourselves or waited. The contrast is stark: the shining new home narrative versus crumbling siding and dripping ceilings behind closed doors. At minute 30, you'll hear directly from a crew member who says Kody never showed up, despite being paid. We had the contract, but Kody, he's paperwork. He's the name on the plan, not on the scaffold. For many fans watching at home, the gap between image and reality widened. As issues mounted, tensions escalated. Fans began digging, screen captures, Reddit threads, blog exposés. Some defended him, others accused him. Neglect, deception, pride, and a delusional belief in his own contractor mythos. He's not just overstating, he's rewriting his own history. While public perception swayed, the Brown family maintained silence. Until now. In just moments, we'll expose the true hands behind the walls. Here's the twist. The real builder, the one who hammered, framed, wired, sealed, was not Kody Brown. Documents, pay stubs, crew logs, all point to a foreman whose name appears again and again as primary labor. Kody's name on contracts, planning documents, press releases. We built it. He never got on the roof. I don't know why people believe otherwise. The credit went to the man in front of the camera. The work went to anonymous tradespeople behind the scenes. His image as a hands-on patriarch contractor, a crafted narrative, proof that reputation can be built as carefully as the houses he claims to build. Up next, how fans reacted and how the Brown family responded. Once the twist leaked into fan communities, reactions were fierce. Fans demanded accountability. Some called Kody a fraud. Others lamented supporting someone built on illusion. I felt deceived, like the show sold me a story that wasn't true. The Brown family offered no public detailed rebuttal. Some posts dismissed critics as haters, but many remain unconvinced. He's not a contractor, he's a brand. Wives did most of the work. The legend of Kody the Builder has cracked, but will it fall entirely? That remains unseen. Drop a comment below. What did you believe about Kody's role, and what changed for you? Part 2. To millions of fans, Sister Wives was a show about unity, faith, and building a plural dream. Kody Brown was the architect of that dream. At least, that's what he said. But in recent months, Reddit and fan communities have turned the spotlight back on Kody, exposing how little he actually built and how much he let fall apart. Kody calls himself a contractor, but he couldn't even fix a roof leak. Robyn's house looks like a palace, and the rest? Forgotten. Behind every crumbling wall lies a story of neglect and of loyalty misplaced. Let's talk about the wives' homes, because fans did, and what they found shocked them. Mold infestations, leaks ignored for months, siding peeling under Arizona's heat. Fans claimed Kody rarely showed up unless it was to criticize or to check things out. He'd promised repairs, but months later, nothing. The women were on their own. And yet, when it came to Robyn's house, Kody's focus sharpened. Fans noticed it immediately. Fresh renovations, new paint, better landscaping. Was it favoritism or something more calculated? For years, this imbalance simmered quietly, but the move to Flagstaff changed everything. When the Brown family uprooted their lives for Flagstaff, Arizona, fans hoped it was a fresh start. Instead, it became the stage for one of Kody's biggest contradictions. He promised to build Coyote Pass, a dream community where each wife would have a home. But years later, the land still sits bare. No foundations, no structures, only empty promises. He talks like a builder, but acts like a landlord who lost the keys. Instead of building the dream, Kody built walls, between wives, between families, and between truth and illusion. And then, the mold appeared. Fans say serious maintenance problems, mold, leaks, electrical faults, were ignored for years. But Kody's focus? Robyn's roof, Robyn's upgrades, Robyn's comfort. By now, the wives were no longer just neglected emotionally. Their homes reflected it. Christine described years of waiting for repairs that never came. Janelle's rental faced water damage, while Kody debated budgets. Meri's house, meanwhile, grew quieter by the day. If my husband ignored a mold problem for months, I'd question his priorities. Kody's only priority is Robyn. The illusion of equality was collapsing, and so were the ceilings. Fans called it symbolic. The physical decay of the homes mirrored the emotional decay of the family. What began as a shared dream was now a fractured structure, barely standing. But here's the twist. Kody didn't just neglect the homes. He may have used them as leverage. According to multiple fan analyses, Kody allegedly prioritized Robyn's home repairs because it kept his legal household functioning, while the others were left to fend for themselves. The pattern was clear, the imbalance undeniable. Neglect wasn't an accident. It was control disguised as chaos. The so-called builder had built something else entirely, a hierarchy. When one wife's house shines and the others decay, is it love or manipulation? By the time the public caught on, it was too late. The family structure had collapsed, just like the homes. The backlash was swift. Reddit exploded. TikTok channels dissected every inch of footage. Fans demanded accountability. He's no builder, he's the destroyer. Robyn's house looks like a castle. Everyone else's looks abandoned. He built his reputation on lies. Even loyal viewers began to walk away, calling it the fall of Kody the Builder. In the end, it wasn't the houses that broke. It was the trust. Fans no longer saw a patriarch. They saw a pattern. A dream that was supposed to unite a family became a monument to neglect. If you've ever believed that love builds homes, this story is a reminder. Without care, even the strongest walls crumble. Join the discussion below. Do you believe Kody's neglect was intentional or just ignorance? Let's deep dive in full details. Part 3. For years, sister wives painted Kody as the all-American family man, a planner, a provider, a father of 18. But buried under that TV image was something else, a myth of craftsmanship. He called himself a contractor, told his wives, "I'll build our forever homes with my own hands." Yet when fans started looking closer, the nails didn't match the story. He talks like a builder, but all I see is someone standing around giving orders. And when the foundation of truth starts cracking, no amount of drywall can hide it. Multiple reports from crew members and behind-the-scenes insiders reveal Kody rarely lifted a tool. Most of the real work was handled by hired contractors. But for the cameras, he played the part, the confident patriarch with a hard hat and a dream. Then came Flagstaff, A land of promise turned into the family's biggest disappointment. In 2018, Kody uprooted his family from Las Vegas, insisting this new Arizona property would become the family's legacy. But 5 years later, fans still ask, where are the homes? All that land, all those promises, and not a single foundation poured. Was it poor planning, or something far more personal? According to leaked county documents and fan investigations, the Flagstaff land was split unevenly. One portion, Robyn's, received priority in permits and upkeep, the others left untouched. While Kody called himself the project manager, nothing moved forward, except fans say at Robyn's address. Beyond the grand plans of Coyote Pass, the real tragedy was happening inside the wives' homes. Leaks, broken air conditioners, even mold. Fans tracked every episode where Kody promised to help, but never did. I keep asking him to fix things around the house. He's just never here. He's too busy with Robyn's renovations to care about anyone else's problems. And then the mold spread, and so did the resentment. By 2020, Christine's house had severe maintenance issues. Janelle's rental was falling apart. Meri's property sat mostly empty. But Kody's attention fixed on one place, Robyn's house. Fresh paint, repaired gutters, upgraded security systems. Every other wife, fans said, was left to rot. As the homes decayed, so did the family. Kody's favoritism toward Robyn wasn't new, but the physical evidence was impossible to ignore. Was this neglect or emotional manipulation built into the blueprint? When one partner controls access to comfort or shelter, that's not just neglect, it's symbolic dominance. Online analysts called it the household hierarchy. Robyn at the top, with comfort, stability, and Kody's presence. The others at the bottom, left with leaks, loneliness, and silence. Kody's so-called contractor dream had become a metaphor for everything broken in his relationships. But the real twist, Kody never legally held the contractor's credentials he claimed. Public records confirm no verified contracting license, no permits issued under his name. So if he wasn't building the homes, what was he really building? The truth? An image, a brand, a persona that sold the dream of a self-reliant patriarch to millions. The illusion of the builder wasn't just about walls and roofs. It was about power, the control to appear capable, even when everything was falling apart. Kody didn't build homes. He built an empire of denial. When the truth surfaced online, fans didn't stay silent. Reddit exploded. TikTok creators posted breakdowns of moldy ceilings and repair neglect. YouTube channels dissected every frame of sister wives. For many, the revelation wasn't just about houses. It was about trust, about watching a family fall apart under the weight of a man's illusion. And as one Reddit user wrote, maybe he never built the homes because he was too busy building his own delusion. In Sister Wives Season 13, Kody walked through half-built homes with a tape measure and a smile pointing at beams, sketching plans, talking like a man who knew what he was doing. But fans noticed something the cameras didn't highlight. Behind those freshly painted walls were hidden leaks, worn insulation, foundation cracks that no one ever repaired. Reddit investigators pulled screenshots frame by frame and compared them to real contractor reports. He always poses with the hammer, never actually swings it. You can tell when someone's faking experience. The way he holds the tool, the way he checks the framing, it's all for show. The irony? The man who called himself a builder couldn't even patch the cracks forming right behind him. If those walls could talk, they'd tell a story of illusion built on neglect. For years, the wives tried to stay silent, but silence doesn't hide heartbreak forever. Christine's season 16. I kept waiting for him to fix things, not just the house, but us. Janelle's reflection. It was always later when I have time, but time never came. Meri's confessional. You start to wonder if the broken things are your fault or if they were broken long before you got there. Each woman learned the same truth in different ways. You can't build love on cracked foundations. And by the time the repairs were needed, the walls were already collapsing. The houses weren't the only things falling apart. The marriages were too. By late 2022, the fans had turned detective. Every forum, every post, every public record was a clue. It started with a single Reddit thread. Someone noticed that no building permits in Flagstaff listed Kody Brown's name. Days later, fans uncovered contractor filings. Still no Kody. So who's the real builder? Because the records say it's not him. Piece by piece, a timeline formed the move to Flagstaff. The unbuilt Coyote Pass dream, the neglect of the wives' homes, and Robyn's property getting silent upgrades. What looked like chaos suddenly formed a pattern, one that pointed to deliberate imbalance. And that's when the illusion finally began to crack. Maybe the truth was never about construction at all. Maybe it was about what happens when you build too much on pride and not enough on partnership. The homes, the plans, the promises, they're all echoes now. What remains is a family scattered, and fans still asking, what was real? Kody Brown wanted to build forever, but forever, it turns out, needs maintenance too. In the end, Kody Brown's story isn't about construction. It's about collapse, the collapse of promises, of unity, of the belief that one man could build everything alone. Because when you neglect the foundations, both in houses and in hearts, eventually, everything falls. If you believe that real builders protect what they build, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Join the comments below. Do you think Kody's neglect was deliberate or just denial? And which wife do you think paid the highest price? Stay tuned for our next episode, Robyn's Palace Inside the House That Divided a Family.